Oh, the creator of the I Like Girls song is leaving the internet. I'm going to talk about that as well. I have some thoughts on that. Cancel culture isn't real to the creator of the I Like Girls song is leaving the internet. This is where your actions lead you. First of all, cancel culture only happens when your assumed fan base decides to no longer watch you for a multitude of different reasons. You can only be canceled by your own ideological peers, which is why being a fucking leftist is the absolute worst thing you can be, because leftists love engaging in like unnecessary acts of cancellations, I guess, like incredibly unnecessary acts. As far as like cancellation goes, this guy didn't get quote unquote canceled. He posted cringe, which many people liked, by the way, like much more people liked than actually hated. And then understandably, he felt like that was impossible to deal with, because I've been the butt of the joke for being cringe on Twitter before. It sucks. I Like Girls guy is an Icarus situation anyway. He's not getting a lot of positive attention, but with what's going on, is going to bring a bunch of people digging into his online past, and I guarantee he's full of weirdo shit. He needs to stay in his positive little lane as Twitter after all. Yeah, it's just that, like, here's the thing. Everyone is incredibly cynical on Twitter. Everyone is. I know this. I myself participate in this as well. It's just like so funny because the person was just simply making a joke about how cringe it is. Originally, Hessa was originally making a joke about how cringe it is, right? She posted it and was like, I made this. And everybody in that like Twitter irony circuit understood that for what it was, but the creator didn't understand it and basically ended up quote tweeting it and being like, well, I made this actually. And then all hell broke loose because then this creator, JoCat's fans were like, fuck you, like, you know, how dare you try to steal this work of art from my favorite content creator, when that wasn't the case at all. JoCat has been a content creator for a long time. He seems like a cool dude. I don't think he has skeletons in his closet like you think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this guy at all. I'm not saying he has skeletons in his closet. I'm simply stating that his biggest crime is the worst thing you could have done. Post cringe. That's it. It's the worst thing you could do on Twitter. Twitter will treat you like you are a pariah. Twitter will treat you if the rest of Twitter decides that what you are doing is cringe, then they will literally send you to cringe jail. Best possible thing you can do in this circumstance, and I literally, as someone who gets hunted down on a daily basis for similar things, the best thing you can do in this circumstance is just to not ever reply. Never signal boost it. Don't ever reply to it. Just, you know, don't even try to play off with it, because some of those people that want to get mad at you want to literally actually hunt you down, because like a lot of people on Twitter are just mentally ill. They're super mentally ill. They're not actually interested in being like, lol, this is such a funny fucking tweet, or this is such a stupid thing that this guy made. They want to be like, I want to kill you. Okay? So don't even reply to it. He's been getting death threats for like 2 years from that video. It's just not that it's cringe. Yeah. It was fun cringe, Sag. Yeah, I feel sad about it. I do feel sad about it. Because like I also joked around about it as well. Like, I mean, I showed the video and quote unquote tortured you with it, but I don't want that person to get yelled at. I don't want that person to get hunted. I don't want this person to get bullied. You know what I mean? It's just a cringe video. Who gives a shit? This is why I always say don't tap the glass. Same shit with the sorbet or sorbet girls that wanted to become J-pop idols. Oh, and here's an update, by the way, from Claire Penis, Zero Suit Camus, Hessa, says, I'm sorry to JoCat for the joke. I genuinely feel bad. I didn't know it would blow up like that. More his fault than mine that it did, because he quote tweeted it to his 150,000 followers who replied yelling at me 1,300 times, which kind of boosted it, but I digress. I really actually do feel bad, though. It was a dumb joke, and I wouldn't have made it if I knew the result of him would be quitting content creation indefinitely. I think he and I are in the same position, afraid of each other's followers, and if he ever wants to squash the beef, I'm here. Yeah. You're literally fine. The joke wasn't even bashing him or his content. It was implying you made the content that you didn't. No. That was a way to be like, yo, look at this shitty video. It's cringe, which it is. I mean, it is cringe. What is the beef, bro? You just randomly shit on him? What do you mean? Not everyone finds that branded, detached, advanced, sarcastic, ironic humor to be the highest form of art, and shitting on someone for not understanding it makes you look pathetic. Complete non-apology, by the way. Like, getting this mad at Hessa is also fucking ridiculous. As someone who was in the crosshairs of a lot of the irony poison Twitter orbit, I will say it like this. I think everyone is very cringe at the bottom of their fucking hearts. Deep down inside, we all have a shit ton of cringe things. We all do a shit ton of cringe things. And I think a lot of people want to distance themselves from that kind of behavior by constantly pointing to other people and being like, I'm not cringe, this guy is. Trust me, that's the fucking actual cringe guy, not me. People do it all the time. And ultimately, I think it's a silly fucking way to operate. I do personally look at like fascinating, funny things on the internet, and I try to balance that in a way that is not like harmful to the subject matter in general, regardless of what actually ends up happening from time to time. There are also instances where people will like falsely claim that I'm the reason why people get pushed out of the internet. Like, remember the sorbet shit? That was me literally looking at a group that was already being doxxed and saying, these people don't deserve to get doxxed. And yet a lot of the Nazis decided to grab onto that and thought they could activate the J-pop idol community online to also fucking despise me, to make it seem like I was the one who actually was championing the doxing of these people for being cringe. And it was ridiculous because their doxing had preceded my coverage of the matter, because my coverage of the matter actually covered the doxing aspect as well, and how fucking ridiculous it is. Post on Twitter, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't think you feel that way. I don't think you would want... You can only get away with saying that if you yourself are not putting yourself out there online. Like, if you're not online, yeah, you get to say this regularly. If you're not online ever, then yeah, cool take from you. But the reality is, everyone enjoys dumb shit from time to time. And also, on top of that, no one wants to be in the crosshairs in the same way. A lot of chatters get a pit in their stomachs when you pull their logs on stream. Now imagine that on Twitter times 1,000. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird, fascinating phenomena in online spaces and online culture, but I feel bad that JoCat has decided it was too much, that he was really gay for girls, which you should be allowed to. In the famous words of Liv Agar, fellas, you should be allowed to be a little gay for pussy. It's fine to be a little gay. It's fine to be the gayest man on the planet for pussy. It's okay. This is funny. Alexis Spud says, I stopped being irony poison and stopped shitting on people I find cringe when I started taking medication. Do with this information what you will. Thank you for the update. It's like that fucking Stan account posting, like, I started taking my antipsychotic medication and I found that I'm no longer standing BTS or something. Dude, that's what he's getting this much harassment for? Jesus fucking Christ. It's like weird because on the one hand, I'm very familiar and friends with a lot of the irony poison leftist Twitter community. And on the other hand, I also have been in the crosshairs of many people that are in the adjacent periphery communities of such. So I've seen this issue on either side. I have consumed the video and made jokes about it, saying it's cringe. This chat just hates trans women making jokes unless it's Juniper, I guess. Yeah, Hessa is great. She's a wonderful person as far as I know. And I don't think that she was like genuinely trying to be malicious and didn't think that it would explode into this situation that led to JoCat leaving the internet indefinitely. I don't think JoCat will leave the internet indefinitely, but I do think that when you are, for the first time ever in your life, in the crosshairs of that kind of like ostensibly leftist irony poison Twitter attacking you, I know what that's like. It takes years and years of ritualistic abuse to be able to get over that hump and be like, oh, we're here again? Who gives a shit? Whatever, moving on. Anyway, my name is Joe, and I've been making videos on YouTube for 5 years. I've combined a total of about 200 videos and hundreds of hours of content. On October 6th, I did a live stream of the early access of Baldur's Gate 3. During the character creation, I did a brief where I sing a gender-bent parody of Lizzo's Boys. It seemed to go over well my audience and all my friends. I typically do these kinds of bits on live streams sometimes. I was also partially inspired by the source of where I first heard Lizzo's song, Hakim's Animations video. One of the idea by my friends who were very encouraging. About a year later, I seem to have reached outside his target audience, and ever since then, I have seen and received many assumptions about my character, my history, my beliefs, my relationships, and all of those, my partner, as well as threats of violence to me, as well as my family, doxing attempts and mocking from even people I look up to and respect. That probably hurts the most. This part is the worst. That is the worst aspect of like Irony Poison Left Twitter, is that it's usually people that you are on the same side of ideologically that are hitting you with this. And then that makes you feel bad because you're like, well, what the fuck? I was once banned by someone I looked up to. Okay, chill out. Don't try to personalize this and make it seem like me clapping you for fucking a week. I've spent years in the suicidal alcoholic guys who hate use DMs telling him you're actually cool, and it's worked like 80% of the time. People take this shit too far online and too easily. Yeah. There's a lot of those guys on Twitter, for sure. Would you call that side of Twitter the alt-left, or is that a fake term? I mean, it's like, it's a weird term because, like, it's not just leftists either, because there are a lot of those people who then become, like, unironically racist. Like, a lot of the Twitter power users ideologically will start off and be like, I'm actually an irony poison leftist. Like, I want healthcare, but also, like, I want to say some slurs every now and then, and it's like, whatever. And then they become, like, increasingly more on the slur side. Is the Twitter community is not left or right? It's people who get bricked up if they hit 100 likes. Yeah. So, I mean, there's truth to that too. And then, you know, depending on how far down that fucking rabbit hole you go, maybe you even become personally a Catholic and decide that you're actually just a right-wing Catholic person now. And that's the only way to escape the art hoe allegations. Okay? When you get a PhD from fucking, you know, an arts college, and then you're like, I actually am not a cigarette smoking Brooklyn podcast host. I'm actually the white working class whisperer. Ooh, Dime Square. Isn't it so cool and subversive? Look at all the art we're making at Dime Square. Everything we're doing at Dime Square is sick. We're doing fashion here. And it's like, you haven't produced shit. You just got fucking New York Times write-ups. That's it. Where's the shit you produced? Nothing. You didn't produce anything. Nothing came out of that. There's a bunch of fucking trust fund kids who are like, we live in New York, but we also think New York is gay. And also, I hate the lockdowns. Adam Friedland. Adam does not deserve this treatment. Adam is unironically not a part of this at all. Because he does actually literally produce shit. Like the Adam Friedland show. There's a lot of stuff like that. And it's mostly clout and vibes. And it's usually people that, how do I describe it? There's not really much going on there. It's just like a point of fascination for liberal intelligentsia that then turn around and place a lot of emphasis on it because, like, a couple minor celebrities or even maybe one major celebrity has personally been interested in this and thinks it's subversive and genre defying. So that's it. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Because, I mean, it's just one aspect of Twitter culture. I do feel sad that this person got a shit ton of hatred for making a little bit of cringe, for being just a little gay about pussy, you know? Twitter needs to just, you know, scale it back a little bit. Don't mean that this guy's like a sex pest. I mean, yeah, it's cringe, just a little off. I don't know what the perfect approach to this is. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how to, like, deal with this, right? I wish there was a way to be like, how can we consume stuff that we find to be fascinating and cringe without, like, a bunch of people jumping on the fucking bandwagon and being like, this person deserves to die? There is a difference between, like, what people on Twitter do that do this sort of thing and then, like, the serialized content creators on the dark side of the commentary space, you know, the Keemstar adjacent commentary guys, the Sunny V2s of the world, and the and even worse aspects of the dark side of the commentary space that consistently are farming drama and consistently cutting content on what they consider to be lolcows, preying on a motherfucker's downfall, and then actually taking the steps to engage in their lives and actually harm them, directly contributing to their downfall. Does that make sense? I think you have to start with the cringe thing. Not everything people think is cringe is actually cringe or embarrassing. No, there's plenty of people that will find a lot of shit cringe. Okay? A lot. And I personally think there's no way to earnestly manage this. It just doesn't work that way. It does make me want to just permanently get offline, though. And I do value, or I do think that it's awesome that a lot of content creators can do that because their content doesn't revolve around constantly being online, like myself and other streamers, where we kind of have to be tuned in all the time, and we constantly are getting a reaction to the things that we are saying, and there's a feedback loop. It's so crazy because there was a video I saw with 200K views, and the guy was quoting a Keemstar tweet about your career being over, and one click let me see how he followed Candace Owens, but he used to be a leftist, and it was sad to see that turn becoming alt-right. Yeah, there's even without, I'm not talking about this from the perspective of like ideology or your own genuine political opinions. I'm simply talking about this devoid of politics, because a lot of that exists as well. For my situation in particular, obviously politics plays a major role in that too, but I don't know, like, I am also obviously fascinated with like weird people and how they live their lives, and I do want to look at that kind of thing too, just like anybody else. But I personally don't know how you deal with that in a healthy way where people don't just pile on and fucking, try to destroy this person's life. It sucks. Granted, a lot of this has been primarily on Twitter, where I can simply log off and ignore the haters, but no small amount is leaked into other parts of my regular day-to-day. Private DMs over Discord and Twitch, suspicious packages being sent to my family, but I've always kept quiet about it because speaking out about it publicly, defending myself, and any reaction to it would just encourage more. I will tell you this much. When you hear stuff like this, you probably think he's exaggerating. There's no fucking way. And let me tell you something, folks. I don't think he's exaggerating at all. And this isn't because of what he did. This is just a constant for anyone that becomes the main villain on Twitter. The main guy on Twitter, for even a brief moment, will get you this level of hatred no matter what. And I feel like that is so insane. Like, that's not a normal way to operate. Like, how the fuck are we doing that? It's so toxic. The suspicious packages are from before the Hesa tweet. I know. I'm not talking about Hesa. I'm just talking about Twitter. This is not about politics. This is not about Hesa's tweet. This is not even necessarily about JoCat all that much. I'm trying to make a broader point. This is simply about how things work online. There's a rule of thumb online, and I try to describe this to my friends who are on the more normie side of content creation that don't fully grasp it. They don't fully understand it. They don't get it. Sometimes they become the main villain on Twitter for like a brief moment, and they think, oh, I need to get ahead of this. I need to deal with this head on. I need to correct the record. And that's a normal thing to want to do. Or maybe there's even a secondary interest inside of you where you're like, ooh, I could use this. People are paying attention. Maybe I could use this to like promote something. Maybe it feels good when you defend yourself, and then your fans are galvanized, and they get together and they say, yeah, we're going to defend you, JoCat. I'm not saying he did that for that purpose, but it's always a mistake, because no matter who you are, it doesn't matter. You could be fucking a famous person, like an actual famous person, like an actual celebrity, like Amy Schumer, who has been consistently posting cringe, and not just cringe, but like really genocidal cringe. Like pro-genocide shit over and over again. And then she gets like death threats, and she gets like people finding out where her children go to school, and then they try to like pursue or try to make threatening phone calls to her about that. And it's like, yeah, that is not necessarily because of what she said about Palestine or Israel. That's because she became a villain online. That's literally because she became a villain online. And that's how it works. Doesn't matter. You could be the most famous person on the planet, or you could be a niche micro e-celeb. You can actually do a genocidal commentary where you are pro-genocide, or you can post a video about how you think women are really hot and you're gay for pussy. And it doesn't matter what the stakes are. What matters is how people react to it. When people see it, when it's in front of their eyes, there is a shit ton of people online who think it is perfectly appropriate to literally fucking rile up the base and grab the pitchforks and go absolutely nutty mode. Please explain gay for pussy. I mean, here, I'll just show you the video, the offending video, and you will understand immediately. I mean, he's like, JoCat is also like very talented. Like, that's the other thing. Like, he's super talented. Look, here, this is the video that got 11 million views 2 years ago, and it certainly turned into a much larger problem recently for him.
Sad that there's no muscly girls in here. Well, I mean, yeah, but, you know, sure, I like to joke around and talk about how, oh, I'm strong women all the time, but that's not the only girls I like. I like big girls, pretty kitty girls, really witty girls, singing ditty girls. I like the leggy girls with the nice thighs. I like a good chest, no matter what size. I like the belly folds, I like the six packs, really tall queens, and the short stacks. From the mild girls to the wild girls. You got style girls, make them round girls. Yeah, I just really like girls.
So yeah, he made this. I mean, it's cringe. It's cringe as hell. What I cringe about this video that it's not funny. That's it. That's the reason why people got fucking so mad. It's only mildly cringe. It's not even that bad. Someone can make it about the animation being cringe, but the song is fucking nothing. No, it's the song that's cringe, not the animation. It's just like resembling fucking early Tumblr era hyper feminist, hypersexual guys, some of which came out to be sex pests and like people knew about it. That's what it signals to a lot of people when they see it. I'm not saying JoCat is like that at all, for the record, but I think that's the major point of contention here. That's what literally fucking raises red flags in their minds, in the minds of people that watch this and consume it and then get like, oh, fuck that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply stating what people are operating off of when they watch it. Overall, though, the word you're looking for is soy. I hate using that word, but Lamau. I mean, yeah, it's like the like soy-facing, Funko Pop owning male feminist guys in like 2014 who were just like, I love being horny, that kind of thing. And it's always going to be when you're making like horny posting, when you're making content around being horny, it's going to be cringe no matter what. It's kind of like sexting. In the moment, you might feel like you fired off a decent sext, but if you fucking rob it of the horniness and the context in which you said it in that back and forth conversation, you're going to come across like Maroon 5 guy, Adam Levine, Divine, whatever his name is going to be fucking cringe. And that's what this is, okay? That's the major problem here. The larger, broader problem here is that he posted cringe, okay? That's it. It was well drawn. It's cute. It gets stuck in your head. It sounds like it hits the, I don't know what it is. It's like the Bella Porch face video, right? Like there are certain things that trigger our fucking primal lizard brains so perfectly where like it fires off all of your synapses. Like the original Bella Porch video where she's like doing like the weird facial movement and stuff, like that went omega viral. Why did it go so viral? Because it did something where it was just like, it was just perfect. For that moment in time, that was a perfect distillation of everything that was slated to go viral. And people freaked out over it and people loved it. And then Bella Porch, like, you know, basically created a fucking music career for herself after, off of that. It's an earworm, you say? Exactly. It's kind of like that. Or Nico Lulz with the Bernie Sanders video, you know, the Bernie girl. Like there are certain things that define a genre or define a point in time. There are certain videos that are super short, sometimes, you know, completely lucky and is born out of like circumstances, and then it just hits. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This video, 63 million likes.
To the B, it's M to the B, it's M to the B, it's M to the B, bang.
Like, this video literally basically created the Bella Porch phenomena. That's it. That's all it took. The music worked perfectly with the facial movements and whatever. And the same goes for JoCat's I Like Girls video. And it hit really hard 2 years ago. It got 11 million views. It left the fucking target audience. People found it to be really cringe, but they still watched it. And then it got resurfaced, and people were like, oh, fuck this guy. And I don't know. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know why we have this attitude online where we just kind of fucking decide like, well, this person's bad. So then you just like hunt down their family. And it sucks. I'm confused. What did the person do wrong? Nothing. The person, JoCat didn't do anything wrong. They just did the most wrong thing you can do, which is be cringe. Post cringe. I have a sneaking suspicion. One of the biggest L's that millennials have to their name is they're letting Chris Chan style lolcow harassment become socially acceptable. Yeah. I don't think it's socially acceptable still. I think the broadest majority of normies don't even fucking understand it. Try to explain any of that shit to a normal friend of yours that has a 9 to 5, and you will be met. Like a friend of yours that doesn't really go online. A friend of yours that, and this is, I'm very lucky. I'm blessed with many friends and family members that are exactly like this, so fucking far removed. Like Marat. If I try to explain to Marat, who is aware of shit happening online, if I try to explain to Marat what lolcow is, or a specific lolcow, he would look at me like, what the fuck are you saying? Please never do this ever again. Marat's the type of motherfucker that sits there, plays Railroad Tycoon on his phone, and watches like industrial power tool videos. He is the type of motherfucker that's in Facebook groups still about all of his hobbies, whether it be dual sport riding, or whether it be off-roading, or whether it be power tools in general. Like, that's the type of dude he is, right? He is the most normal you can be. To me, that's how normal people are. That's how they operate. And so there is still a shit ton. Does he play Roller Coaster Tycoon? Yeah, sorry, not Railroad Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon. To be fair, like, there are a shit ton of people like that. And they're completely oblivious to all the stuff that we look at online. But the problem is sometimes it has the capacity to just like seep into the normal world, to the normie sphere. It's like, try to explain this to a bus driver conundrum. Yeah. You will not be able to fucking do that. Unless you found like the most extremely online bus driver on the planet. My point is this. We personally have the capacity to inflate and make serious whatever the fuck we are hyper focusing on. Whatever we are like watching at any given moment. And when you're online, it turns into like this massive echo chamber of negativity. And I think deep down inside, the reason why we look for people to make fun of is because, one, people are fascinating and it's funny to make fun of people. Fair. I do it all the fucking time. But the other reason why we do it is because, especially online, one, oftentimes the people that are doing it are anonymous so they can get away with it because no one can turn around and be like, bitch, what about your own shit? The fuck do you mean? Here's a post of yours from fucking 4 years ago where you're saying, what if men were milking babies with their penises, which is a real fucking tweet from Kira, right? Like, that's a great example. Like, that dude deleted that tweet, but that tweet will live on permanently. He actually fucking said that. He actually posted that shit, right? Like, that's incredibly fucking insane. It's one of the worst posts of all time. And the thing is, like, you can kind of get away with it by deleting it and being, like, relatively anonymous. But the point is, people recognize that tweet from a blurred abstraction of the layout of the screenshot. Exactly. So the point is, you know, most people think, like, under the guise of anonymity, I could just fucking make fun of other people and not necessarily have that be, not necessarily be in the crosshairs in a similar capacity. So they just get away with that. They get away with it over and over again. And the other reason why a lot of people do this is because they have certain aspects of themselves that they hate, that they despise, right? Certain aspects of themselves that they hate, that they find to be cringe. And therefore, they spend a whole bunch of time pointing at other things and pointing at other people that are cringe in their little groups so that they can fucking feel better and be like, don't look at me. Don't think about how much of a fucking loser I am. Look at this guy. Let's dogpile on this guy so that we can all feel better about how fucking sad our lives are without even thinking about it. I'll give you an example. I was doing a meet and greet at TwitchCon. And at first, I had no idea, but there was a group of like little kids standing in the corner while I was doing a meet and greet. One of them was live streaming it. It's normal. It's TwitchCon. And I don't know. I got like kind of bad vibes from it. I couldn't really tell what the fuck was going on. And then they came up during the meet and greet to take photos. And it turns out they're DGG. They were literally in public. We're like, we're DGG. And it's like a very different energy when you are actually coming up to a person in the real world to talk to them, right? When I can see how sweaty you are, right? When I can see how your hands are shaking because you want to fire off a meme in the real world where automatically the setting is not good. The setting is not good at all for a situation like that. When I can like smell your smells, it turns into an entirely different situation. I know that it's a joke that people say like, oh, you wouldn't, you wouldn't keep that same energy in the real world. But it is kind of true. It's a different, for those who are asking who this group is another streamers community. They love lolcowing or doing basically what happened to JoCat to me for like 5 years at this point. But my point is, it's very different when you try to do that in the real world where people go, well, like normal human beings go, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you do this? That's something I think about a lot where, like, would this fly in the real world? Like, would this be a normal interaction in the real world? Oh, God. Would this interaction fly in the real world? Would you be able to describe this to a random normal human? And at the end of the day, when you behave like you do online in the real world, you end up coming across like iDubbbz at TanaCon. No, literally. And no one will look back at that fondly. If you grow out of that, and I hope you do, many people do, right? One day you will look back at that and feel shame for your participation. For me, that's kind of the rules and the standards I try to abide by as a person that is hyper online and fascinated with the phenomena that occurs online, but also tries to maintain one leg in the real world as best as possible, to try to be as much as a normie coded person as possible. The fact that I'm even saying normie coded, of course, implies how permanently brain broken I am. Didn't you try to explain incels to a hairdresser? Yeah, that's a meme. But that is the meme. That is the joke. The joke is me deliberately trying to explain online culture to a normie. That is the joke. I am the butt of the joke in that situation. I do that deliberately because I'm not doing it in that situation to be like, look how cool this thing is. I'm doing it specifically to make myself the joke. I'm trying to be an entertainer for your comedic consumption. I guess we covered so much of this, right? We covered so much of that. But like I said, the main thing to always remember is just be normal. That's number one. Number two, don't be mean to people because they are cringe. And if you are in groups or if you're a part of message boards that regularly hunt down new targets whose lives you try to manipulate and possibly even ruin, and this is a very real phenomena, and it's becoming more streamlined, in my opinion. Don't do that. I also think that this has to start within the community. Chat dogpiling on chatters is also a problem. Even I've gotten DMs from chatters of this community being fucking mean. It sucks. Absolutely. I hate that. I absolutely fucking hate that. That's why I yell, and I should do more of that. I should yell more when people dogpile on others, no matter who it is, no matter who I pull up. I never meant to make anyone upset. I only just wanted to make things I was passionate about for fun. I never intended this video to be really all that much deeper than just the thing I wanted to do on a whim because I thought it could be fun. I never planned to have a YouTube be my job, but people happen to like what I made, so I thought it could be a good idea to make more of it, use to pursue projects I've always wanted to make, as well be the change in YouTube I wanted to see. I was inspired by the channels I watched growing up, the wonderful friends that have encouraged and inspired me to be who I am and make what I want. I still want to make things, but perhaps I should just keep them to myself for the time being. For anyone that cares, I'll still be continuing Heart of Elinthi and the Joe Mega Charity, but once those are finished, I will be taking an indefinite break from posting anything online. Even if it's someone like me who thinks differently than you, actually asking, not sarcastic, yes. I almost always pull up individuals that have a different perspective than myself, and then they get dogpiled regularly. That's precisely what I'm talking about when I say, don't yell at people when I pull them up in the chat simply because I disagree with them. Do not dogpile on them. It's a decision I've considered ever since the first hate wave from about a year ago, but wanted to sit on it and see if the feeling would persist. I know now this is the best choice for me. If you took the time out to read all this, thank you. I'm sorry for causing so much trouble. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm the most brain broke motherfucker on the planet. I basically professionally experience what this person is experiencing here on a daily fucking basis. And it shouldn't have to happen to every fucking person online that ends up being the main guy online. I don't like that. It just sucks. It sucks. Let people be cringe. And you know, you can laugh at cringe shit too. But I think there's a deeper level of cringe out there, which is when people go above and beyond. This is Joe Mega Charity. He's mentioning he was doing it for trans rights in the UK. Yeah. And it's and one other phenomenal update from the JoCat situation. So they are just mad he objectified women? No. Is that a lot of because it was like the irony poison leftist that made fun of him originally for the video, immediately the right that is negatively polarized against that sort of thing decided to defend him. And then they found out that he's pro-trans. So now they're also mad at him. It sucks how often I see people say you should grow a thicker skin to be online, as if a few mean comments are the same as having your family harassed. Yeah, no, people say you need to have a thicker skin to be online. They say that because they're never in the crosshairs in the same way. And they never can imagine being in the crosshairs in the same way. The closest people get to that is literally when I pull their name up in this chat and people start dogpiling on them for a brief moment. I still don't get what he did wrong. He didn't do anything like wrong from the normal standards that you would think of. He did something wrong in the sense that online you can never be cringe. Souls Luminous said, and also donated, this entire situation just makes me feel nihilistic about the internet. They harass what I would consider one of the nicest people online. They try to destroy his life over a video that he thought it was funny. Hell, you yourself see how much people dogpile on others just because they have a different opinion from you. Yeah, it happens in this community as well. I hate it. I think it's awful. And we should be more careful and not do that. And I yell about it all the time. I always say, don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass. It's fucking awful. Now, the problem is, it's not like Hessa personally was like, yeah, fuck this guy. Let's go fuck him up. I hate his video. She just said it was cringe. She basically signaled that it was cringe to her own in-group. And then it became the main story for a day. Would you be mad if I said you took too much on this topic? Mine Gouda. I would not be mad because I do think I talked a lot about this subject matter. So much so that 2 ad breaks have passed and I still am talking about it. But the reason why I talk about it this a lot is because I think it's important. I think it's important because this is like a part of being online. I'm a hyper online person. This is a hyper online community. It's just the nature of the game. And I think it's good to have like an SOP, especially because I do also want to continue laughing at silly, dumb, cringe shit. But I also don't want people to be bullied as a consequence of that or harassed as a consequence of that. Did you see the parallel situation that occurred the same time yesterday with the kid who didn't get into college because he's white? Yes, I did. I did see that. I think the more atomized our society becomes, the more alienated we become, the more we basically create a sense of community or online, the worse this is going to get. And we don't have any fucking codes of conduct on it. It's like, it's basically anarchy. There is no legal structure to deal with the real world implications of someone being dogpiled. And it absolutely sucks.